There is a park where the sun always shines, music plays eternally, and no one ever truly leaves. You return there, literally every day. Such is the mysterious, incredible Starr Park. But surprisingly, you know almost nothing about it. Every one of your battles is not just a map from the menu. It is a small, lively corner of a huge amusement park built right in the middle of the ocean. The bushes for your ambushes are its flower beds, and the boxes you break are festive decorations. Everything around is completely real. Under the park, if rumors are to be believed, lies a vein of purple crystals, those glowing stones you fight for in every battle. And 104 fighters in the collection are not skins. They are the park's residents. Each has a job, character, and their own story. They all stick together in threes. This is called a trio. Families, colleagues, best friends, and sworn neighbors who are always dividing something among themselves. Why do they all fight here endlessly and no one leaves the park? Hold that question. The answer will be at the very end, but first, the stories of the residents themselves. Bet you didn't even know half the truth about your own mains until today. Let's start with the most unexpected pair in the whole game. You constantly put them in the same squad and noticed absolutely nothing. Nita and Leon, the girl in the bear cloak and the boy in the chameleon hoodie. Here's the first fact. They are biological brother and sister. Moreover, they are real twins. And this family has one dark chapter that no one in the game will tell you about. Their parents once entered the futuristic attraction Tomorrow World to see the bright future. They never came back out. The orphaned children were taken in by Boa, a calm hunter with a big bow, who lives by the fire in the jungle at the edge of the park. So when Boa, Nita and Leon end up in the same battle, it's not a random team. It's a family reunited. Next is Jessie, a little genius engineer who assembles combat mechanisms better than adults. Her mum, by the way, repairs all the equipment in this park. Her turret Scrappy is not just a gadget from a store. It's a metal pet that greets its owner like a real puppy every time. Old man Dynamite has been digging tunnels under this park with dynamite for half his life and considers it a completely normal, quiet job. He has been told 100 times that it's not allowed and dangerous. He politely nodded and didn't hear a single word. All right, we've dealt with the families. Now, come the neighbors, more peculiar ones. The kind that you've honestly underestimated all these long years. Paco is a cheerful skeleton with a guitar, and he doesn't scare anyone. On the contrary, his kind music heals allies better than any first aid kit. 8. Bit, an ancient arcade machine from the amusement hall, which one morning just came to life. No one has figured out how. He moves slowly, shoots precise colored lasers, and takes his new role as a fighter extremely seriously. The most respected employee in the entire park. Tick is a small, cheerful robot whose head is an actual mine with a burning fuse. He himself doesn't seem to be bothered by it at all. Gus, a ghost and the kindest resident in the entire park, gives out glowing shields to the living and genuinely enjoys every new encounter. Pirate Penny drags a small cannon on a string everywhere. By the way, it has a real name, Old Bessie. Barley is a robot bartender who cannot stand noisy, rude guests, so in every fight he accurately throws bottles of his spicy lemonade. El Primo is the main star of local wrestling. Any fight for him is a big show with an entrance, a striking pose, and fireworks at the finale. Shelley grew up right here among old carousels and sweet kiosks, so she fights simply, honestly, and without unnecessary words. But Colt, before every fight, first adjusts his perfect hairstyle. And yes, he seriously considers it a combat tactic. They are all very different, but the residents do have one common trait, and here is the strangest thing in the whole story. Have you noticed the oddity? Fighters fall in battle and a few seconds later are alive again, back in action every time, without exception. Death in this party works like a regular re-entry into a match. Someone invisible pressed a button and you're back in the game. Only the main question of this whole place sounds very simple. Who exactly is pressing this button? Think for a second about the possibilities. Deep in the park, there is a room without windows, an entire wall of small glowing screens, and one completely empty chair in front of them. The cameras in this room have forever remembered one old summer, the very one when the catastrophe happened, which is not spoken of aloud here. 42 days of continuous recording without a single pause. The old film kept rolling, even when the most terrifying events were happening around. In those grainy frames, 30,000 frightened guests, attractions in thick smoke, and complete chaos all over the island. 18 surviving tapes explain the most important thing: why the kind residents from that summer became so angry and fight without stopping. And why, since that very summer, death no longer takes them. The crystals beneath the island did something to everyone who stayed, and who presses the reset button you will find out, as promised, at the very end of the story. Hold on just a little longer, because first, the main villain, the real one, the first in the long history of the eternally sunny park. Meet him. His name is Magician Sirius. Once upon a time, the Star Circus roared on this island, a single tent, and the whole world patiently queued for it. In the center of the arena, every evening, the magician Sirius shone. For his magic, people crossed entire oceans and saved up for tickets for years, and then new bright performers appeared in the park, and the crowd simply forgot their great magician in just one short season. Completely. The resentment inside him grew quietly, and for a very long time, and one day it found dark magic exactly matching the size of this resentment. Sirius began stealing shadows from the most ordinary people right off the ground, one short, elegant movement of a hand in a white glove. The park banished him for this forever, and that very night the magician's tent burned to the ground along with his entire former life. It seemed like the grim tale had ended forever. Yeah, right, such stories never just end. Remember, he returned quietly, elegantly, as exactly the 100th resident of the park. Now this magician has settled in your game and patiently waits for the moment. And look how beautifully this is conceived. All his combat power is a literal retelling of his own biography. Each mechanic here is a separate chapter. Count for yourself. Every fourth strike of Sirius steals a shadow from the opponent, just like he used to steal them from passers-by. And then he releases the stolen shadows directly into the battle, up to 3 at a time. An entire obedient army of darkening foreign silhouettes. The thief of shadows now lives where he was once expelled from. Smiling, he politely tips his top hat and is clearly preparing something much bigger. Well, the time has come for the promised answer. Who is constantly rebooting fallen fighters in every corner of this vast park? In the park, there is a very old film. Play it backwards, and the narrator's voice begins to whisper truly strange words. Here is the phrase verbatim. In the future, children control us through glowing rectangles. Hold on a second, what could that mean? The glowing rectangle is right now in your hands. It turns out that the one who controls the fighters and presses that very button is you, so in the next battle, say hello to the park's residents. They are not there for no reason. Now you know their stories. And in the next video, Nani, a girl whose name the park predicted long before her appearance. Subscribe so you don't miss this story.